Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
A great big thank you tonight to Brotherhood and Sisterhood. Tonight we are recognizing all the contributions from Karen and David Sane and saying farewell to them, not goodbye, just farewell. The Sisterhood put together some delicious food. Brotherhood put out the tables and chairs on the patio. Even though it was windy, it was still pleasant to get together with everyone. I would like to add my personal recognition and thanks for all the many years of service that the saints have provided to the temple. If there was anything that needed done, all you had to do was ask, and if they were available, they would do it. They both served on the board of directors, David in many, many positions. If there was something that needed to be done as far as the house, all you had to do was call him. Something that needed to be fixed, David, help, here he came. He turned over to me a bunch of keys. I almost got a hernia holding it just in my purse. Sad to say. So we don't say goodbye. We say lehitriot, au revoir, in the hopes that when you come back to visit Ben, you'll be sure to stop by and see us again. We wish you all the best in your new dwelling, in your new situation. And I have been asked to remind everyone that in May, God willing, we will be celebrating our 65th anniversary of Temple Beth Or. We are planning a big gala event with entertainment, so we're all hoping very much that it will go forward, but we're proceeding as if it will. So please put it on your calendars. It really will be a very nice evening. As always, I'd like to thank our staff, Rabbi Goldfarb, Cantor, Jaffe, and Ray Irwin at the Clavinova, and our techies, Phil Carey, David Youngman, and Chris Jastrock. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very much, Dina. Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Welcome. For those of you joining us from home, I invite you to set out some candles, kiddush, wine, or juice, as is whatever your favorite beverage is, so that you might have that ready for us when we get to our candles and our kiddush this evening. We come to Shabbat and celebrate the joy of the past week, at the same time taking a break before we enter the coming week ahead. We also have some Shabbat greetings coming from Rita and Bob Rubin and Jeff and Wilma Shear. Thank you both very much for your continued support of our Shabbat shoutouts. I want to note that Jaffe is a past president of our congregation and a member of our board. And from Brotherhood and from Sisterhood, a special shout out to Karen and David Sane, wishing you both good luck as they start their new journey in Virginia, heading back to the East Coast. And our virtual flowers, for those of you online, sponsored by the Kenningsburg family in honor of Sharon Kenningsburg's 65th birthday and her recent retirement. She had hoped to have sponsored the flowers last weekend, which would have coincided with her birth date, but not only her birth date in the English calendar, but her birth date in the Hebrew calendar as well. Last week we had a wonderful coming together of those two dates on the calendar. And so, Sharon, we are grateful for your sponsorship. Thank you very much. And as I understand, this is also in tribute to her father's yahrzeit, which was on the Hebrew date of the 19th, which was also last week. So we have a chance to come together. Let's take a moment. All of us take a nice, deep and relaxing breath. Another minute, another hour, another day, another week. Like David, I went to battle against giants. Like Deborah, I moved from on high to encounter the enemy face to face. Only my battles were waged with each other, with commuters on the road, with my competitors, and even with my friends, and even with my family. For 6 evenings, I have been a warrior. The battle raged on in my own camp, only now I found myself fighting bills and chores. I was losing the battle against time. Finally, a truce has been called, and its name is Shabbat. And it has arrived not a moment too soon. The noise of the war of life has dimmed. A calmness is setting in around me. And perhaps I will calm down before this Shabbat is over. God, over this Shabbat, allow me to make peace with my giants and with myself.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, 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 Shabbat 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 Shalom, 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 Shalom.
As the great doors of night are opening, we come into the clean, quiet room of Shabbat. Let us be thankful as we prepare to light these candles like eyes of holiness for this moment of peace. Let us savor the fruit of the vine, the blood of the earth that quickens us. Let us be thankful for grain, fruit of the grasses that feed the cow, the gazelle, and us. Let us be grateful for the children and the work of the week that are our own fruitfulness. Let us never forget that food comes from the earth we must cherish and heal. Through labor, we must respect and reward. I invite David and Karen Sane to join us on the bima as we light our Shabbat candles. Yes, please take off your masks. So we'll wait until we pass it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts. Through mitzvot and inspires us to kindle these lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat.
This is just a little appetizer. We're going to have you back for a much more fuller series of presentations, sayings, things, and activities. So Shabbat Shalom to you, Karen and David. Thank you very much. We'll take this opportunity to toast the joy of this Shabbat with the words of our Kiddush, an opportunity for us to acknowledge the joy of this Shabbat, even amidst the somberness of us saying farewell and see you later and lehitraot and au revoir to two very dear friends of our community.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uratzon Hinchilanu zikaron lemasei bereshit ki yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim Shabbat kodesh be'ahava
finally, after all this time. A person at prayer is like a bed of coals. As long as a single spark remains, a great fire can again be kindled. But without that spark, there can be no fire. Always remain attached to God, even at those times when you feel unable to ascend to God. You must preserve that single spark, lest the fire of your soul be extinguished. We continue with the words of our Baruch Hu, our call to worship. I invite us to rise as we are able.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhma poteach she'arim v'vitvona meshane itim u'machalif et hazmanim u'msader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla Umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamyid yimlo chalenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. As the sun sinks and the colors of the day turn, we are grateful for twilight. For twilight is neither day nor night, but in between. And we are all twilight people. We can never be fully labeled or defined. We are many identities and loves, many genders and none. We are in between roles, at the intersection of histories or between place and place. We are crisscrossed paths of memory and destination, streaks of light, all swirled together. We are both, neither, and all. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, and widen our vision. May this in-between light illuminate our way to the God who transcends all categories and all definitions. May the in-between people who have come to pray be lifted up into this twilight. We cannot always define, but we can always say a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Hold on to your hand when you are about to do an unkind act. Hold on to your tongue when you are just ready to speak harshly. Hold on to your heart when evil persons invite you to join their ranks. Hold on to your temper when you are excited or angry or others are angry with you. Hold on to the truth, for it will serve you well and do you good throughout eternity. Hold on to your virtue. It is above all price to you in all times and in all places. Hold on to your character, for it is and ever will be your best wealth.
We may be seated.
And you shall love Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
According to Jewish tradition, the waters of the Sea of Reeds did not part for the people of Israel until one single Israelite, Nachshon ben Aminadab is his full name, plunged headlong into the raging waters. We too stand at the shore of a vast sea. Like Nachshon, we too must take that first step We too must act so that God might make the waters part, bringing redemption to our people and freedom to all the peoples of the earth. Then shall we, like the children of Israel before us, sing together this song of freedom.
Mi chamocha b'halim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Yamba bim bibi bam, yamba bim bam, yamba bim bibi bam, yamba bim bam. Ay dai 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 dai, yamba bim bam. Ay dai 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 dai, yamba bim bam. Mahalechutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Li'anu ve'amheru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yamba bim bibi bam, yamba bim bibi bam, yamba bim bim bam, yamba bim bam. Ay dai 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 dai, yamba bim bam. Ay dai 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 dai, yamba bim bam.
Help us to lie down in peace, O God. But teach us that peace means more than just quiet. Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day. Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep. Rid us of resentments and hatreds that rob us of the peace that we crave. Liberate us from enslaving habits that disturb us and give us no rest. May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, or seek no profit by another's loss. May we so live that we can face the whole world with serenity. May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day. May we lie down in peace tonight, O God, and waken tomorrow to a richer and a fuller life.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'chayim ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha v'taknenu be'etzah tova milfanecha ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha ve'hoshienu le'eman shemecha ve'hagen b'hadeinu ve'haser me'aleinu oyev dever ve'cherev ve'ra'av ve'yagon ve'hagen b'hadeinu ve'haser satan mifaneinu u'me'achareinu uve'tzel kenafecha tastirenu ki el shomrenu matzilenu ata ki el melech chanun v'rachum ata u'shmor tzeitenu vo'enu לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Our fathers and mothers prayed, each through their own experience of God, each through their own visions, which we have come to share. Abraham, with the fervor of justice, pleaded the cause of cities. Sarah, in the pain of waiting, dared to hope for new life. Isaac, meditating alone in the field, lifted his eyes to find love. And Rebekah asked for the ability to discern God's call. Jacob climbed the rungs of his night into heaven seeking destiny, and Leah dreamed of love, and Rachel sought harmony. We, as they, seek God's presence.
השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Let us invoke our ancestors, both the spiritual and the genetic, for we are the sole reason for their existence. Let us invoke the children and their children, for they are the sole reason for our existence. Let us invoke the mountains and rivers and this great earth, and acknowledge our intimacy and our codependency with all things, sentient and insentient. Let us reflect that the gift of life is more precious than the dewdrops on the tips of the morning grasses. And then let us vow. Let us vow and promise to heal and to nourish. Let us vow to love and to share. Let us vow to alleviate suffering and bondage. Let us vow to manifest peace and joy with wisdom and with compassion. We continue with the words of our tefillah, connecting us to our ancestors, to our tradition, and indeed to our God. And I invite us to rise as we are able, as we continue with our tefillah.
ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We may be seated. May the rest and quiet of this hour of worship refresh our inner life and renew in us the sense of holiness. Fill our hearts with Shabbat peace and serenity, that we may hear the voice of our innermost soul and be moved to build our lives on the abiding foundations of all that is holy. That is what Shabbat must be for us. Not to tear the world apart, not to wrestle with time, but to let warmth and care and light come forth from deep, deep within ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. What is this life if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare? No time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep and cows. No time to see when woods we pass, where squirrels hide their nuts in grass. No time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like skies at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet, how they dance. No time to wait till her mouth can enrich that smile her eyes begin. A poor life this, if, full of care, we have no time to stand and stare.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom hashalom. Letov beinecha levarech et amecha levarech et amecha Yisrael. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Bechol eid ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai Hamevarech et amo Yisrael Bashalom.
We include in our prayers for peace, shalom, wholeness and contentment, those whose very sense of peace, wholeness, and contentment might very well have been disturbed, shattered even by the challenges that they are facing. In a moment we will share together the words of our Misha Berach, our prayers expressing our hope that those who are facing such challenges might yet again know a sense of shalom, of wholeness, of peace, and indeed of fullness of health. May all who are facing such challenges to their health and their well-being be blessed on their journey, a journey that will bring them to a refuah shlema, a return to the wholeness that they seek, the shalom and health that they desire. Baruch atah Adonai rofei hacholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need. And let us say, Amen.
שברח אבותינו ואימותינו אברהם ושרה משה ומרים הוא יברך וירפא את החולים חנן לבדך יסוד לבדך Heal them with blessing, with strength and spirit, with laughter and life, with courage and grace. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, restore them like streams in the desert. Heal them with body and spirit. Strengthen them with patience and guard them with compassion. Renew their vision and bless them with peace. Birfuat ha-nefesh urfat ha-guf v'nomar
We pause in our worship service so that we might have the opportunity to be for a moment, setting aside the doing of reading, the doing of singing. Instead, we put all that on hold for a little bit. To bring us into this time of quietude and reflection, I share this thought. Take time. Take time to listen. Listen to the birds, the waves, the wind. Take time. Take time to breathe in the air, the earth, the ocean. Take time to be still, to be silent. To allow God to fill you up with deep peace and with deep love. So we pause for a moment of silent meditation, or such other prayer as the heart may prompt.
Shalom Aleinu, Aseh Shalom, Aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
Thank you very much, Cantor, as always, for the music you bring to our services. And Dr. Ray as well, your talents on the clavinova we are so blessed to have. And to our techies, to David, Chris, and to Phil, thank you so much for helping to stream our services to the greater community of our webpage and internet, and out there in the ethers sphere as well. Congregations need good foundations. Good foundations to build upon, to grow, to continue, to expand. Temple Beth Or has been blessed with many, because you need more than just one foundation, otherwise you only have one wall. And so we've been very fortunate and blessed. When I came on board almost 14 years ago, there was David and Karen Sane. And during the past 14 years, there has been David and Karen Sane. Whenever things were needed to be done, whenever activities were needed to be helped organize, whenever we needed donuts for Hanukkah, we knew exactly where to turn. And so our joy of this Shabbat is mingled with a touch of sadness as we prepare to say see you later to truly two of the foundations of our congregation. We will begin first with Sisterhood and their words that they would like to address. Following Sisterhood will be Brotherhood. I will have a few remarks. We have a very short picture slideshow and a special song from our Cantor, and that is the flow of this part of our evening.
Thank you, Rabbi. It's my pleasure to represent Sisterhood. It is always my pleasure to represent Sisterhood. I want to tell you a little bit about Karen, although many of you probably know more than I do about her. Not yet, sorry. Karen and David joined TBO in 1980. Despite having 2 kids at home, Karen became immediately very active in both Temple and in Sisterhood. She became his Sisterhood president and served from 1985 to 1987 and was awarded the prestigious Ethel Shine Award. The Ethel is awarded to an individual who's gone above and beyond. And that's exactly what Karen does every single time. She became Sisterhood president again, and she served from 2002 to 2004. She has been both on the Temple and the Sisterhood boards in a myriad of positions. Karen has always stepped up when and where she was needed. Karen's kindness has extended beyond the 4 walls of this building. When Senator Paskus needed a right to dialysis, It was Karen and another temple member who jumped in and gave her that ride. When there were riots just a few blocks from my home in Long Beach, Karen called and asked if we would like to come to her house and stay if things got worse. Thank goodness they didn't. Karen has made so many friends in Temple Beth Or, and I'm sure they would all love to come up to the mic and say something about Karen. However, we would probably be here until morning. So instead, I'm just going to call one of her special friends to say a few words, and then I'm going to take the mic back because Sisterhood does have a special present to give to Karen.
Thank you, Flo. Well, Karen, it's hard to believe, isn't it? Yeah. You've been a member of this temple. You and David have been a member of this table for 42 years. You've realized that sometimes that's longer than a marriage lasts. You've done very well, very well. If any of you have attended any of the Passover Seders here, you may have noticed that the matzah covers were all cross-stitch. Am I right? They're cross-stitch. How many did you do, Karen? Yeah. Yeah. She's left her mark here, so that's all I can say. For Shabbat or even for Passover, we will always remember the talent that you had in making those covers. She also did some of the dirty work. She took home dirty tablecloths and washed them. She took home dirty towels and washed them, folded them neatly, and returned them to the kitchen. There were many things that Karen just said, sure, yeah, I'll do it. Sometimes she even did that before she was asked. And for that, we all thank you. She often worked behind the scenes in the kitchen, making things ready for families for a meal of condolence. It's almost like a thankless job, but you do it because you want to do it. I'm going to miss my travel companion. And when I screw up with my knitting or my crocheting, who am I going to call? Obviously, there are others that'll step forward, but thank you. Thank you, Karen. Okay, did you want Karen to come up now? Okay, Karen, you want to come up, please?
Hi, Karen. Okay, Sisterhood wants to make sure that you remember us, because we sure as heck are not going to forget you. So, on behalf of Sisterhood, I'm going to present a gift that will make sure that you remember us. We have a Sisterhood pillow for you, and also a mezuzah for your new home. We wish you love, we wish you happiness, and we'll miss you.
The only thing I really want to say is I was actually president 6 times of Sisterhood. I was never president of Temple. I let David do that, as I let him be president of Brotherhood. That was his thing. But this has been our home for almost 42 years. Everything I've done is because you're family. And I love you all. And I thank you all for being here tonight to say goodbye. It's hard, but it's time.
Karen is one part of the dynamic duo, and so I now turn to Brotherhood to have a chance to talk to us about David and to present David with an item as well. Members of Brotherhood, I invite you to join us here. Well, aren't you going to say something first? So you'll do that up here, and when you come for the second thing, we'll move down there.
Oh.
Can I take my mask off or do I?
Yes, yeah, you can take off.
Okay.
I thought it was Jack.
Okay. Where's David? David. Perhaps you should come up here. Is this working?
Yes.
All right, good. Come on up here, David. We're going to take advantage until you leave, okay? You okay? All right. David and Karen Sen, you have been a member of Temple Beth Or since 1980, as was mentioned. Both of their children, Ben and Ruth, right, attended TBO Religious School. David has been active on the board ever since I can remember. He has served as president of the board and other committees. David encouraged me to get involved and eventually convinced me to join the Temple board and head the Beacon. I became the Beacon editor while you were president. And I remember you didn't have an editor for a while, and one of the Temple services, you asked if there's any volunteers, and I walked up and I said, maybe I can do it. And you looked at me and you said, I'll think about it. And then a week later you said, okay, you can join. All right. In 2007, David was instrumental in the revival of the Brotherhood chapter at Temple Beth Or, which was dormant for over 10 years. The new Brotherhood was soon active with about 30 brothers. David spearheaded programs such as Tu B'Shvat, Super Bowl, Yom HaShoah candles, pancake breakfast, retreats, and other things. He actively participated in the annual Angel Game and Tailgate parties. David arranged several Brotherhood dinners and speakers. He served as programs and membership chairperson and president for several terms. He has been awarded the MRJ Man of the Year and the Long Beach Jewish Community Center's Above and Beyond in 2018 award. That was at the Air Force Base Los Alamitos, I remember that. This mensch is a great cook and makes the best hummus outside of Israel.
Oh.
I could not have asked for a better mentor. What a great way to learn by following his exemplified leadership by showing admiration, respect, and encouragement to others. Having said all that, is one of my favorite sayings that I have learned from you, David, and I use it all the time to get people's attentions. I aspire to be cherished as this fine man. We, the brothers of Temple Beth Or, want to extend our appreciation and acknowledgement, all that you have contributed to our organization. We are all going to miss you, David and Karen. I know that we will always be in touch. L'chaim, to life, and I would like for us to all have a drink, if you don't mind. We actually brought something with us. It's a symbolic l'chaim. Dr. Irwin has one?
Okay. All right. All right.
Move down to the ground.
But not so much that we reach the floor.
I want you to all please hold a glass, and before we drink it, There are a few things we would like to present to you. David? Howard?
You can hold it, but I was going to read part of it. Yes, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You can.
Brotherhood, David saying, it gives us great pleasure from Brotherhood in appreciation of your many years of dedication, service, devotion, commitment to Brotherhood with this plaque. And cherish it in your new home. And thank you for all your help and contribution.
Okay, thank you.
I just did.
We did. We read it. And we were going to bring a whole bunch of beers for everybody, but we weren't sure we were going to be able to do that. So instead of that, Art, do you have a new gift certificate?
Oh, then in the wine. Don't mean the
No, that will do at the end.
Okay.
Well, I like to say that I met David 15 years ago at the late Don Kessler's house. And that night, it was to revive the Brotherhood. And that night turned into a spark, and you ignited the Brotherhood from all these years and for the future. And I know that you're an avid golfer. You have a weekly tea time at the golf course across the street. And as for the Brotherhood, I remember you as president, and all presidents, they give a little something to everybody, to the board, to say thank you. And Dave always gave us a gift certificate to give us a warm meal, a hearty meal, and to think of the past year of the Brotherhood. Well, what would we like to do is, could you hold this for a second?
Sure. Do I need to say something too?
No, it's hard. So when you're out in Virginia on the golf course and you get your foursome, we want you to have a drink on us on the golf course. So here's a little something that we want to give to you.
Thank you. Cheers. Well, with that all said, all we could say is l'chaim, and traditionally in my family, we are going to drink l'chaim together. So l'chaim.
L'chaim. L'chaim.
Let's check down. It's good straight.
Quite good.
Thank you, everybody.
First time I had it.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Brotherhood has always been dear to my heart. Having all said all that, I just love it. All right. Thank you.
David, don't return to your seat yet. David and Karen, if you'll join your husband here on the bima in a moment. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Karen, if you'll join us up here. As you, we have, first the Cantor is going, I mean, not first. Second, the Cantor is going to have a special song for us. But as you know, here at Temple Beth Or, we have created the tradition of having certificates to mark special occasions in the life of our congregation. And a verse. We actually have a traveling certificate for you. It features a compass, and it reads, Adonai yishmor tzetecha uvoacha. May God watch over your going out and your coming in. And it contains the verse from Genesis, the charge given to Abraham and Sarah, Lech lecha, me'artzecha u'mimoledetcha u'mibeit avicha. Set out for yourself, leave your country, your kinsmen, and your parents' home. Although that's not what you're leaving. Nonetheless, you are leaving what has been your home here for quite some time. And so, from Temple Beth Or, from all of us, from myself, our Cantor, we have for you this prayer. Ever-present God and God of our ancestors, may we always be open to the subtle ways in which you lead us and direct our steps. Now that we begin, this is your prayer, so this is for you guys. Now that we begin this journey, we turn to you in confidence and trust, knowing that you are with us as we set forth from our land, our home, to begin this new adventure. We turn to you for support that we may be guided on the paths of well-being. May we go forth in health and safely reach our destination. May this journey not be in vain. Let its purpose be fulfilled, and may we return in contentment to our loved ones, which is indeed where you are going. Virginia might be cold in the wintertime and might very well be hot and wet in the summer, but it is a place of love and family where you can go and be with your children and even more importantly with your grandchildren. And we wish you all the best. The Cantor has prepared a special song for your way.
But I think it's important to note that this is not the typical lyrics for Lechi Lach. Our own Rabbi Mark, has made some important adjustments to the song to make it more appropriate. And so thank you so much, Rabbi. Lechi Lach, to a land that God has shown you. Lech Lecha, to a place you know so well. Lechi Lach, on your journey God will bless you. And you have been a blessing. You have been a blessing. We shall surely miss you, Lechi Lach. Lechi Lach, to spend more time with your family. Lech Lecha, to see your grandchildren. Lechi Lach, to Virginia and your new home. L'simchat chayim. Please join us. L'simchat chayim. One more time, l'simchat. L'simchat chayim. Lechi Lach.
Thank you. One of my favorite songs, even with the new words.
Even with the new word.
We both just wanted everyone to know how we appreciate the warmth of Temple Beth Or. When we first walked in that door in 1980, several people reached out to welcome us and make us feel welcome here. Many are still members, and we were very fortunate to raise our family here, give them a good, solid Jewish education, worship as we saw, and our life has revolved around this temple with so many dear friends. We just want to say thank you to being such nice people for the last 42 years. Thank you.
We have a special slideshow for the Saints, which clearly demonstrates the many ways in which they have been involved in the life of our community. I just want to note one special part of this slideshow that comes at the end. When our brotherhood created our sukkah, it was always quite an adventure, not only coordinating with the city to have the palm fronds delivered, but with the brotherhood engaging the brothers to help build the sukkah. Several years ago, I turned to David and I said, I've got a bunch of upper grade students who would love to help. And David immediately said, oh, absolutely. We have to teach the next generation how to build a sukkah. And our sukkah contractor took that on and made sure that there were gloves and safety glasses, and you will see a couple of those pictures. I want to thank you, David, for all that you have done for Temple Beth Or, for our religious school, with the Brotherhood. Karen, I want to thank you as well for all you've done with the Sisterhood, the amazing things that you two have done, our dynamic duo. We look forward to maintaining a connection with you in Virginia. If it ever gets too cold there, you've got a home here. Are we ready, gentlemen? Roll it. For us all. David and Karen, you have truly been a blessing to our congregation, to our community. As you have given to us, we have received from you, and you have received from us. We are so very grateful, and we really wish you all the best. And Nisiya Tova, to a very safe journey, and most importantly, to a great time in your new home. We wish you all the best as we say, not goodbye, but instead we shall say on three, Lehitraot. 1, 2, and 3, Lehitraot. We will see you again. With that, we move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of the Aleinu, the adoration. I invite us to rise as we are able.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'tov hakol, la'tet gedolah li'yotzeh brei שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts, our memories, and in the place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind those for whom we are observing the Shloshim, Joel Jaffe, the uncle of Cantor Ken Jaffe, Marvin Asnes, the Fred of Ted and Terry Levoot, and Ralph Goldstein, the brother of Eddie Goldstein. And Cantor, to you, the Goldsteins and the Levoots, our hearts go out to you in the immediacy of the death of these friends and family members. To their names, we link the names of those whose yardsites have occurred during this past week: Earl Mark Altman, Harry Eichenbaum, Jeanette Urban, Concha Chavez, Iris Salter, Paul Benjamin, Carol Christensen, Paul Pomeroy, Sheldon Silber, Morris Berger, Cynthia Algra, and Jack Altschuler. To those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Doug Austin, Edith Chess, Berta Ursus, Ann Phillips, Malcolm Dipperstein, Mark Bornstein, Leah Levine, Vicky Emery, Sheldon Zinberg, Evelyn Levin, Gloria Austin, Dee Dee Ginter, Dorothy Bernard, Molly Shartoff, Erica Cherie Barnes, Kaylee Goldstein, Craig Wilford, Fred Fink, and Joyce Ulibari. If there is a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name at this time. To those that we have named aloud, and to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. As well, we include the over 860,000 Americans who have died from COVID-19, and as well, just this past week, the 759 Americans who have died by gun violence. Zichronam levracha. May their memories be a source of blessing and a source of courage to us to create a better world in our tomorrow as we join together with the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yahei shemei Rabba mevarach, le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, Shemei Kudasha Barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu ve'al Kol Yisrael, Vimru. Amen.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael,
It is also with deep sadness we note the death of Norma Lippi, who died yesterday. A private family funeral is scheduled in the future. Our thoughts go out to Ben at this time and offer our sincerest of condolences to he and to all of his family. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's eternal presence a source of strength, courage, and hope. Above all, a source of shalom, of peace, and let us say, Amen. We conclude our service with the singing of Ein Kelohinu. It's an opportunity to connect back with our tradition, but with a slightly different melody, I think.
Yes, it's a melody written by...
Not me. I will. Keep going.
It's a melody written by Steve Dropkin, who's written a number of beautiful melodies, and I know we needed to kind of have maybe a more updated version. This one I was telling Ray, it sounds like something out of Yiddish theater. So if you have a love of Yiddish theater, it's going to feel like home. So with this one, so I'm sure by the second verse you will be singing along. Eloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemokeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Eloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemokeinu, ein Kemoshienu, mich Eloheinu, mich Adonenu, mich Kemokeinu, mich Kemoshienu. Eloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemokeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Eloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemokeinu, ein Kemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, nodel Adonenu, nodel Makenu, nodel Moshienu. Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemokeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemokeinu, ein Kemoshienu. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makenu, Baruch Moshienu. Eloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, ein Eloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.